Hello and welcome back to ancient Greece and to the Trojan War, and boy do we have some wars. I apologize, it has been a little while, I'm behind on this campaign, but never fear, I'm back, we're gonna finish this one out. I actually have no idea what's in total ahead of me in this campaign. I've never actually played a Troy campaign all the way to the end, which is somewhat sad to admit, but then also just being truthful with you all, I've never played one all the way to the end. So, as you may last remember, I'm just going to call them Macedon. Their name is spelled slightly different on here. Macedon, whatever. So they've declared war on me. I'm going to have to go fight them. I did not really care to, but they haven't really given me a choice. And I think it's going to be like that with most all factions around me. Now, I do appreciate the comments that you all left on the last episode. A lot of these comments revolved around what you liked and didn't like about Troy. And I'll be reading some of those. In fact, starting with one, here I'm at war with everybody, and I can't get anybody to agree to anything with me. Like, for instance, Pythia, none of these other factions will agree to anything without me emptying my treasury in their favor. Michael McCoy says, though, that he likes everything except for two things. One, sorry, I meant to go to Jacob Reed first. Jacob says, I actually believe the diplomacy is by far the best in Troy. You can get other factions to agree to treaties with you. It's a very underappreciated aspect that I think this game fixed. I find myself never being able to accomplish any form of meaningful diplomacy in Warhammer, or the other games. Being able to trade settlements is also fantastic to fix wonky borders. So, here's a couple of issues that I have with trade settlements. One, you can't just trade whatever settlement you want to for whatever settlement you want. You can only trade things that are on borders. And that's better than nothing, but it's still a little bit weak in my opinion. I actually brought this to CA's attention while Troy was still in a pre-release, and I said, hey, is this as intended? And they're like, yeah, that's the way we want it. And I was like, maybe you should change. Nah, we don't want to change it. So they had no interest in changing it. I have no idea why. And the reason I say that is because I would have provinces, for instance, that I wanted to gift over to someone just to buy some diplomatic. Like, so for instance, these interior provinces where I cannot build big settlements. I was playing a different Ithaca campaign where I was trying to stick to the coast, and I was trying to be a good neighbor and hand over settlements that were in the middle of the territory that I didn't want to hold, that weren't doing me a ton of good, and you can't. You just can't do it. Can't hand it over to them. And I thought that was stupid. Like, why limit the player that way? So yes, it's good that it's here, but it also feels limited. And to the other point and Jacob, I'm disagreeing with you here, so don't take me the wrong way. It's fair. You're free to disagree with me, but you say that it's easier to make agreements. Permit me to demonstrate. I'm gonna go into the diplomacy screen here. Here's Pythia, whatever, however you pronounce this. They don't dislike me. They have a generally positive attitude towards me, right? And when we look at non-aggression partners, they have non-aggression partners. Let's take a look at their war. In fact, let's find some even better ones here. These guys are at war with a bunch of people. Let's see. Some of them are the same as me, in fact. Okay? And if we go and look here, we have a non-aggression pact with them, right? So you might think, this guy would be a likely defensive ally at least, right? We have a strong relationship. We're trusted friends. We have a war with a lot of the same people. All right, so let's go in here.
I look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Okay, defensive alliance, -2. Well, let's just click this. Where's the make it work here? Let me remember my buttons. Make it work. Does this seem fair? Does this seem good? So we're saying that the diplomacy system is better in this game. Is this better? I have to pay them 15,000 food? This is like 2/3 of all of my food supplies? For a faction that really likes me, and we have common wars, just to have a defensive alliance. I'm not asking for a military alliance. I'm not asking for anything else. 15,713 food, just to make up for that 2, the -2. Why do they have the -2? Why should the -2 be there? Like, they explain? Look, I mouse over, there's no explanation for the minuses. So, I still have many problems. Don't get me wrong. The diplomacy is better. But when diplomacy was a turd, and we turned it into a polished turd, it's still not okay, in my mind, right? So I get that you like it and that it's better. It is, in many ways, better. But it's not good. And in my opinion, and if you all think that that's a bad example by me, please feel free. Hit me up in the comments. And Jacob, this is not me, like, really trying to put you down or something. I read your opinion. You are perfectly free to that opinion. And if you all agree with Jacob, feel free to go let him know. I tend to disagree. That's why I disagree, in case anybody's wondering. But like I said, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. We've got it at this point. So I'll continue to cover some of these comments as we go through. I want to get to them. I feel like you all took the time to leave them, and I'd like to participate with you. Settlement, we could get more wood, and we could certainly always use more wood here. Now, there is a lot of stuff about this game that I definitely enjoy a lot. Like, a lot. The Boeotian's Claw. I could use another agent here to help improve settlement. I might put the garrison in here. Islanders, Young Spears, Sword Skirmishers, Achaean Slingers, Island Skirmishers. I think I'm going to put that in because we're likely to be at war with the Boeotians again at some point. Use up some of this stuff. Go ahead and fix that province up a little. Got potential settlement upgrades. This food settlement, let's go ahead and upgrade it. Now this settlement, it's a ways off, but I want to upgrade it. Do we have... Yeah, we're still missing the high influence here. Where did I send this guy?
Knowledge is the weapon I wield.
Increases the influence the target settlement. Let's keep doing this.
Populace follows blindly.
So we've got Achaean influence on the rise. This is good stuff. Once we hit a certain level here, I should pick up quite a bit of food. And I want to continue to use this agent to spread that influence. Plus it should help rank him up. Assign skill points. Let's hit these skill points. See, our fighter fighter Ravager, sorry, has a skill point here. This is Melanipos, however we say that. Charge, fatigue reduction, battle speed. Having a lot of extra battle speed wouldn't be a bad thing, I don't think. All the way up to 54 speed. I mean, that is definitely a pretty large speed increase versus just charge bonus, which, don't get me wrong, charge bonus is good, but I would find it a lot more useful if it was like a really big monster or a cavalry unit or something. Speaking of cavalry, I want some Centaurs. Need some dang Centaurs. Could use some light cavalry. Really badly, in fact. Let's take a look here. More unassigned skill points. This is going to be our envoy. See, 10% to campaign against a foreign army, success chance of agent actions at all settlements, plus 20 to influence upon success. Now, see, this is what I want, because I want this dude to be cranking up influence. That's definitely what I want. So hopefully we can level him up quickly. Agent not moved. I believe that's going to be my spy. I know this Boeotian agent isn't technically at war with me, but they're probably here for shenanigans. I'm going to go ahead and assassinate. Got a pretty low chance, but the negative outcome is extremely low. There we go. Alright. Got a settlement upgrade available. There. That one's really close to the Macedonians, so upgrading it may be risky. Go ahead and upgrade here. Get Hyri all fixed up again. It says construction's available here. We don't need to do any construction there at the moment. Let's end our turn. I'm going to speed the camera up here. And let me get some more comments while we're going through the pointless barters here. I don't wish to give away any food at the moment. But anyway, yeah, let's get back to some more comments you all made about the game, things you liked and didn't like. Appreciate Jacob's comment, even though I didn't entirely agree. That's fine. Like I said, don't take ill of it, Jacob. Michael McCoy says, I like everything about it except for 2 things. 1, diplomacy. AI makes offers that do not make sense, amongst other things. Amen, brother. I can't agree enough there. Yeah, look, there's Doris. That's the settlement that I refused to upgrade, I believe. So we're going to let that one go. And he says, you cannot build walls around walled settlements, and minor settlement garrisons are trash, but I really like the game. Another positive is the AI is more willing to give you battle rather than running away. Now, I do agree with that positive. I do get a lot of battles in this game. That's part of the reason why I find it fun. But not only do I get more battles, the battles are fun. So I definitely enjoy it. Let's see, is this Athena? Yeah, Athena wants to give me a peace treaty. That's fine for now. I'll take the wood they're offering and the peace treaty. I don't wish to fight them right now anyway. We have to focus on Macedon, which is quickly trying to take over my previous positions in the north here. Shining Odysseus. Right, I'm moving Shining Odysseus as far and as fast as I can so that we can punch back against the Macedonians. And then I think I'm going to do the same. I'm going to take this army with me so that we can get like a double face punch against the Macedonians. Unless, for some reason, we end up needing to bring it back. But let's go ahead and march up here. I've got 2 armies headed that direction. I've got 1 army that's going to stay in this general vicinity. And I'm going to keep the spy down here for now, just in case Boeotians or other people declare war on me. Let's take our agent and spread influence again. So we're going to continue to spread our influence, and it is working quite well. Pretty soon we're going to be able to skill him up and get even more out of that arrangement. Still lacking the high influence food here, which is unfortunate. Population surplus. Let's go take a look where... We have a population surplus, but nothing needs to be upgraded in terms of settlements. This is where we have our gold mine. We don't have high influence here yet. Peace negotiated. Battle reports, territorial disputes, building constructed, so our guardhouse is complete. Rate the ancestors, agent activity to assist the settlement. Take a look here at settlement upgrades. I guess we can go ahead and upgrade here. It's not an overwhelming amount of gold, and we have the wood and stone. Let's take a look at the construction availability. We do have the high influence here. Or no, I thought we did. I guess high influence has to go even higher. I figured maybe just over half. But it has to go higher than that, apparently. So speaking of influence, that one's happiness. Temple. This one's our influence building, but we cannot improve it until the settlement itself is improved. So let's take a look around. Got a port that we can upgrade there. I really would like for this settlement to be ready to do more upgrades once we do hit the high influence mark here, which I feel like will be soon. But I'm not going to spend it yet. Basically just a bunch of ports, like low tier ports we can build up, which do give us slightly more food. Go ahead and run one of them. I'm going to ignore the construction available there. And I'm pretty sure I made most of the moves. Yeah, this guy's sitting where I need him to. Our spy is sitting where he's okay. This person isn't even recruited right now. That's why we can't click on them and travel to him on the map. So let's go ahead and end another turn. I'm going to get to some more comments here when I cover as many of these as I can to appreciate you all for taking the time to leave them. Designer Paper says, I'm playing the historical campaign since I don't own the Mythos DLC, with Hippolyte as Amazons, and I'm enjoying it. I agree with most of your points. The improvements to terrain and weight classes are definitely something I'm looking forward to seeing in future Total War games. One negative I'm seeing in the late game is that every wall city is level 5 with upgraded guardhouse, and then often a half or full stack army. Without artillery and with siege towers, taking so long to construct, I'm often just waiting several turns until they start taking attrition, and by that point the siege towers are not particularly necessary. They really need to reduce the build and cost time of siege towers to encourage players to attack and fight the full defending army in the walled settlement instead of just starving them out. Starving them out might be historically accurate, but it's boring in a game that focuses on battles. I admit that some of mythology units may aid this problem. They do aid it to a degree. Yeah, that's funny. I'm not, no. Like, that's hilarious. Anyway, there's our better diplomacy. Anyway, I first of all really appreciate that's a long comment designer paper, and it's an interesting one. I haven't tried the historical bit myself, so I'm not 100% certain exactly how that plays out in terms of what it feels like in a siege. But I can tell you that just playing sieges on this game setting, I already dislike it. Like, the siege battle itself is pretty fun, and the siege and the myth units definitely make the siege battles more fun. Like, there's no question in my mind they make it more fun because they give you more flexibility. Now, that said, the siege battles in this game are certainly an improvement. Shadow. They are certainly an improvement over siege battles of the past, and I appreciate it. I think it's good. In fact, I really like it. Now, all that said, I'm going to enter ambush stance. I do agree with your point that it could get into a bit of a drag. It does take... So first of all, siege towers are far, far down the royal decree. Like, you have to do a lot of research to get to a siege tower. A whole bunch of research. So it is a long ways down the research tree. And to your point, it does take a very long time to construct. And yes, you do end up just starving them out most of the time because it's like, why go in and take all that, all those losses when I can just basically screw these people over by starving them out. And again, you make the point that maybe it's more historically accurate. It probably is. It probably is more historically accurate, but it is boring. And again, the game is about battles. I agree with you there, 100%. That's what the focus of the game should be, is on battles. And to see that get taken away from is a little bit annoying. I tend to agree with you. So I think I agree with you for the most part on that. And it makes sense that you're playing the historical mode since you don't own the mythic mode. It was pretty expensive, if I remember right, the DLC. Like, it was more of an expansion almost. Andrew Moreland, thanks for being a Gold Shield channel supporter. Definitely appreciate you. He says, to answer your question, I think it was the whole Epic Store thing. This is talking about why Troy may not have taken off as well as we would have liked. We did not initiate the ambush properly, but we can still fight the battle here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to keep reading Andrew's comment. He says, I think it was the whole Epic Store thing plus quite a boring base campaign for standard Total War game that did it for me. Yes, I got it free on day one, but I only managed to get 30 turns into a Sarpedon campaign before I got utterly bored. Now I'm waiting for the sales to get it on Steam for a decent price. Roughly 20 pounds, I believe, is a good value for the Mythos edition. But right now it's too expensive. However, I do want to give it another go and make a fair assessment. Andrew, you are probably correct. I don't think the Epic Store thing was a good move in terms of exciting the fan base of Total War. I do think it was a good move for CA financially, or else they wouldn't have made it, right? They are a company. Companies are going to do what is smart for them financially, and they have Centaurs. Maybe there's some Centaurs up north here that we can get a hold of. That would be absolutely fantastic. They're going to have me outranged. I'm a little worried about these Centaurs over here. These are all light cavalry. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stick all my light infantry, including a couple of spear units, on this flank with the cavalry. I can't Vanguard deploy the spear units, unfortunately. But I should be able to get into support range quickly. But I'm going to deploy my javelins near the enemy chariots. Turn skirmish mode off. I should be able to get in range of their skirmishers, almost. And then we can Vanguard deploy our giant Vanguard here, hence the name Vanguard. So what I'm going to do is get all of my non-Vanguard units that I want rushing towards that cavalry flank. I'm going to get them right there. I'm going to hard group these guys. I did not mean to include them in that hard group. What I just did there. There we go. That did it right. Okay, so I want to start battle. Group 2 run up here, Group 3 run up here, Group 1 I'm going to try and give orders on my own. It's going to be really important that we take those chariots out of commission. So here comes the skirmishers. I'm going to unload javelins all over the chariots. Should damage them very, very badly. And I'm going to let my units stand still for the Chariot Charge. I've got a lot of heavy swords on this flank. I'm going to wrap up. We're going to take a bit of a nasty charge here in the middle. Alright, Giant Vanguard. And I got my spears coming up. Where's all their... Oh, they got a cavalry all the way behind my line. Yeah, that's not good news. I'm going to try and intercept it with... Commander. That was nice maneuvering by the AI, though. Immediately getting behind my lines. Good to see that. That's what they should do. I don't like it right now, because it's a little bit of an annoyance, but that is absolutely what they should have done.
Your hero is under attack. Don't hold back.
Okay, so my hero might get in a little bit of trouble here. I'm going to use this poison ritual. See if we can get those centaurs. Come try and attack here.
Victory is close enough to taste.
Yes, it is. Alright, so a good battle for us thus far. We just need to continue wrapping up the infantry fights. We got these Centaur Warriors coming after us. Javelins flying everywhere. That's good, though, because most of them are my javelins.
One of your units has no
Enemy
more
Lord's
ammunition.
still alive, which I don't love. I'm going to send my Griffin over to pay him some attention. Centaur Warriors, how are we doing back here? Trying to chase those Centaur Warriors off, but let's get our chariot back up here. I'll drop some heals over here.
Your warriors are ready.
Alright, I got my Spartoi up here. They have an ability, but it's they have to be out of melee in order to use their kind of heal ability there. And run back this way. My Giant Vanguard actually got savaged a little bit. Let's go ahead and heal them while they're momentarily out of combat. That Centaur Warrior just came back, but that'll make them a little stronger. Wow, this is really taking a long time just for the wrap-up phase of this battle. That's not good. My ambushers got hit. Where did my... Odysseus, where you go? I want skirmish mode on. What is he chasing? Whatever I clicked on last, no doubt. Get those centaurs. The enemy hero just got his Arstea, or whatever you call it. So we should hopefully still be able to stop him, though. Just overwhelming force. But it does make them a lot stronger. And I'm not sure you can break them. Yeah, it's unbreakable. But we can at least get rid of most of his healing by hitting him with overwhelming attacks. And then as soon as that ability ends, that should be the end of him. Got some close-ups here. You can see the Spartoi. These guys look like the terracotta soldiers we're about to see from Cathay. They look really cool, in fact.
Your warriors are losing heart.
Why are my warriors losing heart? Alright, I guess they just feel like losing heart. Those giants got a ton of healing in. Still had most of their unit models. Alright, there goes the enemy hero.
Hades has claimed the enemy hero.
We're going to end the battle. We were successful. We did take a fair bit of damage, unfortunately. We're going to have to still overcome a garrison. It's likely that their garrison is quite weak, so we will deal with the garrison on the next turn. Let's get to some more comments. Appreciate the comment, Andrew. Daniel says, historically, walls were a huge advantage in the Bronze Age. I can imagine. I mean, technology was fairly low. And constructing big siege engines would have been difficult. He didn't have the right materials, or, you know, a lot of people didn't even have the know-how for it. So I don't disagree that walls would have been a big advantage. So good statement there. Designer Paper has another one here. He says, Envoy Agent for Influence, need to level them up as the influence is in the skills, but it's well worth it. Yep. Thanks for the advice. I did finally figure it out, but appreciate the knowledge sharing there. Is always helpful. See, look at this. Here's a Achaean faction declaring a random war on me, so I'm going to have to go defend Hyri again. Doesn't really make any sense why they would do this. So again, diplomacy not fixed in my opinion, and it shows. Oh, Sparta decides to abandon me, and so that breaks our military alliance. Good. The one military alliance that I managed to get is now broken. Oh boy. I'm gonna have to march down here. See, this is the faction that I'm at war with. We're gonna have to get down here and get ready to put some pressure on this faction. I wanted to have 2 armies go north, because Macedon is relatively large, but I don't think we're gonna be able to afford it.
I cannot do that.
First, they already have 10 units here. Can't tell their health at the moment. They technically shouldn't be at full health, but something tells me that they will be.
Beyond my skills.
Because, you know, because AI. I'm going to bring another army back down here, because we could have trouble. We could have trouble. This faction, so here, I'm going to move that way. And I'm just going to have Odysseus keep fighting in the north, and I'm just going to put the pressure on. I'm going to attack this army outside of the settlement, so that all their troops will have to come outside of the settlement. I'll use my Vanguard deploy to get some advantage here. They've got more Centaur hunters. I really want these Centaurs. It must mean they have a settlement where they can get them. So now this kind of actually makes me glad that I'm fighting this war, because I definitely want those Centaurs. It'd be very, very useful. Okay, so let's get this battle loaded up. Start the deployment. They're going to deploy far back. Their reinforcements are coming in from here. I think I'm going to just douse these guys. Okay, we are ready to go. Start the battle. Their reinforcements are going to get bottled up really hard over here. I don't know why they're delayed in coming onto the battlefield. We've seen this happen before, actually. There's like a really strange delay with the reinforcements. It's maybe a mechanic that I'm just not familiar with. Like there may be a timer on the reinforcements. They're just back there camping though, so I got time. Let's see what happens. I don't believe they have enough units on the battlefield, like to hit the 20 unit cap. And even if they did, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I don't. The unit cap's not even always a thing. Kind of depends. Definitely shows the this is odd. I've not seen this before. This must be some kind of mechanic that reinforcements are delayed under certain circumstances. I don't understand that. This is new to me. I'm gonna take a small force over here. Leave my guys here. think I can initiate a pretty decent battle. Just these troops. Because I don't think that they have a whole lot over here that can really threaten me. Let Odysseus start picking at those slingers. That ought to bring them up into range of my ambushers, who have an excellent position here in the woods. And then I'm gonna go ahead and bring Group 1 out in front of my ambushers to protect them. But I'll let my ambushers get their initial javelin salvos out there.
The foe has sighted your hidden units.
I'm going to engage my Spartoi in the infantry fight. I'm gonna try and get my lighter spear units around this infantry fight. And get to those skirmishers. They had a army ability there that they used on my giant vanguard. Alright, Odysseus, hop on over here. Alright, I've got their units singled out. My Griffin got into combat initially. And now Odysseus can't seem to get past the Griffin. My Griffin is berserking right now, though. This is actually a pretty big problem for me because I can't control it, and I very well could lose him
Your
here.
hero is under attack.
I'm going to drop a heal on the Griffin. Try and keep it alive. Really don't want to lose that unit. It's difficult to reclaim them once lost. So I've got the heal going.
Athena, guard me.
And my Griffin is still out of control. Where's my Hydra Priest? I can give him a further heal here. Regenerative mixture. Do everything I can to keep this Griffin alive. Let's move back a little bit here. Alright, we did get the enemy lord there, and my Griffin is going to survive. And that is going to be it for the enemy. Their reinforcements never showed. Odd. I really don't understand it. I'm quite confused, actually, as to what's going on. But that Hydra heal was very helpful. Very helpful. Enemy heroes down. All the troops, for the most part, have shattered. There's a single Renowned Slinger. Renowned Slinger's a decent slinger unit. It's not amazing, but it's, you know, it's pretty decent. Gonna get them, though. Get these guys off the battlefield. Yeah, the reinforcements never showed. That was really strange. But regardless, we were able to secure the victory. Is there a unit that hasn't shattered? Everything's shattered. This is strange. Maybe it's a glitch. Like, at first, maybe I keep thinking that this is something that's supposed to happen, but it has to be a glitch, right? Because it thinks the battle's still going. There's 0 enemy troops on the field. We have literally won the battle. Is it glitched because of how close I'm deployed?
The enemy is
Yeah.
receiving
How
reinforcements.
stupid. How stupid. CA, please. CA, please. Well, if you're ever wondering how to game that, I don't know how many troops it takes, but you might be able to deploy troops here and keep an enemy from getting their reinforcements for a very long time, especially if you're able to deploy just a small number of units. I was able to catch all of their skirmishers coming onto the battlefield. That was very, very strange. Right, here comes Odysseus. He is about to arrive. Keep our Griffin after these archers back here. Now we got rid of some of their bows there. We're going to take them straight off the battlefield. Let's actually go help against these ones. Griffin can now get those.
Poised for action.
There's Odysseus just in time to drop some heals in here.
Solid as rock.
There we go. The enemy army is falling apart. Just their giant vanguard left, really. And I don't imagine the giants are going to be able to hold their leadership together. Here comes some more reinforcements, so they got another lord.
At them. Your time has come.
Berserked my griffin again.
Unleash Havoc.
So that is irritating.
Strike hard.
Go give my griffin some help.
Forward, not after conversation. Ready for
I mean, it makes sense. That's probably a pretty good unit to use the berserking thing on. Because then you can control what would otherwise be a very mobile unit. So don't blame the AI for using it on that. It's irritating for me, but probably the right move for them to make. And again, good to see the AI making some right moves with unit abilities. Georgi Mihalkov, sorry, says, glad you're enjoying Troy. We enjoy watching your campaigns. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Elia Sherwood says, doesn't the envoy increase your influence in a province he acts on, e.g. using agent action? Says, I'm also a new player to answer your question to us, but I have a very hard time staying dedicated to my campaign as it seems negative events always ruin my economy and always get negative stock without merit. Really wish to finish a game, but disadvantages are killing me. I haven't run into as much of that. If you hear me talking about your comment here, or if anybody else is familiar with that, leave some comments and tell me a little bit more about that. I mean, I understand there's like negative campaign events that pop up that take away or hurt money, and that definitely could get annoying. I haven't run into it in a really bad fashion yet, but that doesn't mean it hasn't happened to other people. So again, let me know what you're thinking. But hey, appreciate the comment. Thanks for taking the time. Jacob Reed says, I like Troy a lot, and this from a relatively inexperienced Total War player. The gameplay itself is very good. The only thing that I didn't get a fantastic grasp on was how to acquire the special units that I wanted to get in my advanced armies. Other than that aspect, with the favor of the gods and all that, it's the best from a gameplay perspective, I think. Yeah, I like the favor of the gods thing. Some of the gods are pretty lame, like the favor that you get. I don't know. Maybe there's a time and place for it, but to me, most of them seem rather worthless. There are the new abilities that you can get from the gods too, which that is pretty cool. You know, it's good to see stuff like that to kind of spice the game up, so I think I agree. Let's take one more real quick before I fire this one up. Mark Hadley says, thanks to you, Air, I bought this game and I love it, except that I don't get the end game. It's so hard to get Troy if you're playing as the Greeks. Interesting. I haven't gotten to the end game yet, Mark. I've had this game for a while, but sadly I have to admit that I haven't played it as much as I should have. So yeah, I haven't gotten to the end game, and once I do get there, hopefully I'll be able to see what you're talking about. I do like a good solid end game challenge. However, if it's just arbitrary or something, I could see how it might get frustrating, but I will check it out when I get there. But definitely looking forward to completing a campaign in this game. Put all my ambushers over here for support. Put my giant vanguard over here for support. And then let's just get all of these non-vanguard losers. Griffin's like, hey, I'm not a loser, Air. Let's start the battle. I'm gonna go ahead and get some heals going on Mr. Griffin. We really have to get that close?
The foe has sighted your
Wow, yeah, we have to get very close. Alright, so we've got the heals going on my Griffin. They do have some Centaur War Hunters over here, but that shouldn't be a big deal because I've got a lot of... Oh my gosh, though, they have Chariots. Yeah, I need to back up. Yeah, this is not good.
Victory is close enough.
Alright, so my poor swordsmen are just going to have to take it off these Chariots, and I'm going to come back with some javelin support. Alright, the Griffin has gotten quite a few heals. I'm going to go ahead and dive bomb him into combat. I'm going to use Odysseus to shoot back at those Centaurs. And how are we doing over here? Alright, we got rid of the Chariots. That's great news. Let's get rid of the Giant Vanguard next. Javelins are extraordinarily useful. And you should definitely take full advantage of them. Go ahead and do a heal here, get my Spartoi back up to full strength, then maybe we don't have to do as much replenishment. see. All right, we broke through this flank, so I'm going to run for the capture point. Got rid of the giant vanguard, so it's time to push in.
Your warriors
Gonna
have
push
been
for the
right.
capture point. Gonna start to pin everything in here. Actually, my javelins could take out these centaur hunters. Holy crap, man! We are getting some unwanted attention from these renowned bowmen.
For glory!
Take them down, gents. Take them down. I got rid of the centaur hunters.
One of your units has no more ammunition.
That's probably true. Alright, well, I'm kind of surprised the AI hasn't chain routed yet, but whatever. No big deal. I'm not really taking a ton of damage here. Use Odysseus and his Bentmobile to run down some of these skirmishers. I love the 0G turning radius there on the chariot. That is a technology that I didn't know existed back then, but Odysseus is making full use of it. All right, so we took back one of our settlements from the Macedonians. We have a very damaged up light sword skirmisher unit. But the rest of our army should be pretty well intact. I don't really want to loot and occupy unless they did. I wish there was a way to see the settlement. That's been on past games, and it's not here. Like, I want to see what's in the settlement. And I'll know whether I want to loot it and occupy it. That's kind of irritating. Just occupy it. Exceptional warriors found. That's going to be more giants. Where are the centaurs? Yeah, right here. Okay, so we need to get up here. These two settlements have centaurs. I would definitely love to get my hands on the centaurs. Alright, well, maybe I will want my spy up there because there's a lot of enemy agents. My spy is going to be best at clearing them out, so let's move that way. So Doris is back in our control. And we did lose a unit here. It was probably a light sword skirmisher. Yeah, it was. I think I'm just going to replace it with a giant. We've got the giant vanguard, which is a bonus versus large, and we have the giant spearman, which I don't believe has the well, maybe it does have vanguard. Let's pin it and see. Hide in forest causes fear, siege attacker. They are not vanguard. That's hence the name vanguard here. I'm trying to remember what the vanguard icon looks like over here. Must be that snake or something. So I'm gonna get some more of the giants. There's also giant skirmishers who are pretty decent in melee with anti-large damage. Hold on now. Let's take a look at this. So they got 20 armor, 50 speed, do a ton of missile damage. So they do slightly less damage than the giant vanguard, a little more than the spears. It is anti-large, all of them. Their charge bonus is decent. And they have less armor. Let's just go ahead and get the giant vanguard. They've been useful. They do a pretty good job pummeling stuff and should be a fair replacement for just a standard sword skirmisher, which is a pretty crappy unit, all be told. It's nothing special. So we've used all of his movement points. Let's do some of our Venerate the Ancestors here. I wish he would skill up, because it'll help me do this a lot faster. But nonetheless, we are picking up influence at a decent pace here. Sinking the Dorian influence. And let's get... This army was moving south. This army's moving south. Don't have a bunch of wood, so I'm probably going to just mostly ignore that. But Odysseus has a skill point. We got his archer chariot. So... grants a chariot ancillary? The hero, which apparently is going to affect my ammunition? Gives him a lot of ammo. This one increases the range. The one's going to affect ammo, one's going to affect range. I don't see how like 20-something more range is going to make that much of a difference, so I think it makes sense to take the extra ammunition, should you get the opportunity for it to make a difference. Which maybe we will, so gonna leave that there. Okay, so Odysseus is recruiting. Let's end our turn. I'm going to get some more of your awesome comments. We've had some good ones. Even the person who disagreed with me, totally fine. It's a good comment. Thank you for leaving it. Rebel Yell TV says, you being the top-ranked faction, look to do diplomacy with factions with a servile trait. They will be a lot easier to negotiate with. Now, thank you for the tip. I didn't know that. I will take a look. Godwin says, CA was so uncertain and unconfident with their plans on Troy, they released it on Epic for free. The Mythos should have been the standard all along instead of part myth, part history. But other than that, if CA did make a great job, they were just so unconfident that it wasn't the case. This would have been one of the best Total War. I think what he's getting at here from Godwin is that he's saying it feels like they were very unconfident about their product. And I totally get that. It does kind of seem that way. Because, whether or not they actually were unconfident in their product, they took the deal with Epic. Now look at this Macedon already suing for peace. Nope, I want your Centaurs. So they took the deal with Epic, and were they unconfident when they took the deal? Maybe, maybe not, right? They very well could have been. Which may explain, here's the Boeotians. I knew it. I knew these turds weren't going to leave me alone. So one of my armies can go to try and counter that other Achaean faction, and then we're going to have to go back down here with the other one and face the Boeotians again. Again. Rumors of Sedition, Ritual of Ruination. Okay, let's get busy here. So this is Odysseus. My other army, he's down here somewhere. Are you down here? All right, right here. So we've got some enemy factions approaching.
Not possible. Victory awaits.
Move up here. Try and protect my holdings. Fortunately for me, I have a bigger garrison here. That will help. May not be incredible, but it's definitely going to help. Where do I... Yeah, right here. I've got 4 sword skirmishers, some islanders. If I upgrade this settlement, which may make sense, it depends. I don't know if we'll have time to upgrade it. Let's take a look, though. Let's go back to the overview. I can't upgrade it because we haven't upgraded the main settlement yet. This should add to a better garrison here, though, too. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. It's a bit of a risk because we're close to the enemies and we may get attacked.
Odysseus of Ithaca.
We're replenishing quickly, but I need to keep the war going against my enemies here. I'm going to push up and enter an ambush stance in front of my settlement. Replenish a little and get ready for another fight on the next turn. We're working on Doris. My spy is now in range of Macedonian spy here. We've got a decent chance of success. When I say decent, I mean pretty darn high. Alright, so we were successful. And let's go do our agent action here. And that leveled us up, and that is going to be super helpful because now we can get this plus 20 influence upon successful. So that is going to make a big difference in us spreading our influence. We're up to 49%, or yeah, 49%. It's still rising. So we should be able to continue to spread our influence. This army is going to need some better troops. They just don't have good troops. Hyri could be at risk. Same here could be at risk. There is an enemy army nearby. I'm going to come and garrison here and maybe take on some better troops so that we can be ready, because we're going to have to fight these losers down here. And I think that's about all I can do here. We have some settlement upgrades available. We do have some extra wood, so probably a good time to do it. Chance this place could get attacked before this is completed in 6 turns, but it gives me a very nice garrison here. Takes a ton of gold, though. I just don't know if that's worth it. I don't know if that's worth it. Extra bronze from these settlements. Cost of quite a lot of gold. Let's take a look. Some of the constructions available. Upgrade the chariots. What do I want to do? Let's see what makes the most sense. I'd love to have more food here. I wonder if we should go ahead and prepare this for whenever we get the influence to switch over. I think I'm going to. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Whenever that influence pops up, we're going to be in a pretty solid position to gain a lot of food. That's probably fine for now. And I believe I've moved the armies that I need to have. Let's end our turn, and I'm going to get to some more of your comments. So yeah, what was CA too uncertain, Godwin? Maybe so. Maybe so. I just think the Epic Store launch, regardless of whether it was over uncertainty or no confidence, was just bad from a PR standpoint. I think it was great from a financial standpoint. It probably helped secure, their backing to make sure they didn't lose money on the game. And that makes a lot of sense. I thought I had this place with a better garrison. Apparently not. What a waste. So in any case, Alpinos, yeah, I can't remember what we had there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether it was or not. I do think it was a mistake. In the end, I think it was a mistake. Xander Hank says, curious how you would compare rank Troy to Three Kingdoms. Troy is better than Three Kingdoms, in my opinion. And it's because of the battles. So Troy is for sure better because of the battles, and then I actually really... Three Kingdoms does have some decent unit variety. You've got like hybrid type units, you've got interesting units. So I'm not going to bash it on unit variety. I think for me it's the battles. So I would rank Troy higher because of the battles. Let's see here. Greg Andres says, I also hope CA isn't discouraged from using the Troy engine for future project. There's so much I like about it. I don't want them to scrap it if Troy doesn't do well. But that's what I said about Three Kingdoms, and here we are. Yes, both engines made some big improvements. Some big improvements indeed. So it looks like I'm going to be at war with Athena again, because Ionia is declaring war on me. So we're going to have a lot of enemies on our borders here. We can't stop the wars at this point. It's just one war after another. They raised my settlement at Alpinos.
A noble warrior.
So I've got an enemy army sailing towards me down here. And I have enemies amassing here.
Not really an option.
Good.
You are.
Good. Lots of enemies. Let's see here.
Who's looking for a fight?
Let's see here. Island Club Warriors are not great, but they're better than the militia that I have. I would think that Sword Skirmishers would just be better, period. They do less damage, but they have javelins. And they have better morale than the Club Warriors. Morale was kind of a big deal. Ian Slingers. I don't have access to any better slingers at the moment, unfortunately. Probably should have done that so I could have gotten access to higher tier slingers. Let's go ahead and build that for when I want that in the future. I want to get rid of... I can recruit quite a few units. I'm going to get rid of all of these and just recruit the Sword Skirmishers. They do less damage, but they have the javelins, and I think overall that's going to make them better. I'm going to grab one more heavy. Me2. We got a lot of big battles coming up. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab another slinger. Alright, that's going to take me into the negative, but kind of feels necessary. Okay, this is where I had built up the garrison. It wasn't at Alpinos. And then, of course, these guys just snagged Alpinos after it got raised by this idiot army. These guys are a nuisance. I don't really want to have another war declared, though, so I can't really mess with them.
Nothing is unthinkable.
Go ahead and take this agent down here. We got a lot of enemy agents operating to our south. We've got so many wars going on, and we really need to consolidate some of them, so I'm going to continue to beat the crap out of Macedon while I have the opportunity. We're getting close to a Centaur settlement. Getting Centaurs in our army would be really sweet. I'm going to go ahead and fight this one manually. It's not much of a fight, but I don't want the auto-resolve to take away too many casualties, and then that'll probably be all the time I have for this episode. Let's get to some more comments here. Tommy Salty, thanks for being a channel supporter. He says, it is a bit ironic that you started the episode praising the game and finished it utterly frustrated with the diplomacy system. I guess it is kind of ironic, huh? I do like the game as a whole. The diplomacy system does frustrate me a whole lot. However, the games for Total War were never about the diplomacy for me. It is a nice feature, one that I wish they would improve and I think could add to the game. But if a game has good battles, I can cut it a lot of slack. Now, he continues and says, I really like the game, especially because it runs great and battles are interesting. The weight class system is easy to understand. I love Three Kingdoms, but I can never tell what unit is good versus what. The game looks pretty and it has a unique art style. I think I generally agree with your sentiment. What I usually did was to establish non-aggression pacts with factions from my culture who are not likely to be my enemies, taking into account global geography. It says the longer they last, the better for future deals. Playing as Achilles, I was able to confederate Odysseus and Agamemnon in a late game after enjoying long-standing alliance. As much as you hate barter systems, small barters can build trust. Yep, it can. Says, plus, if you're missing 100 stone to build an important upgrade, it may be good. Anyway, sorry for the backseat gaming. I see why you would not like how it works. Don't worry about it, Tommy. Definitely get your opinion there. Thanks for sharing it. Let's see. Let's get into more combat here. Ooh, I'm trying not to sneeze. Alright, I got the mic muted just in time so that you all didn't have to hear that super loud right in your ears. Alright, I'm going to get some of my light units here. And let's get our last light unit with this last Vanguard Giant. Support these lighter deployments with some javelins. And then we'll have our non-Vanguard deploy units here. Just go ahead and split up some of these troops. Alright, let's start the battle. Send Odysseus, Griffin here, Spartoi this way. Take these guys off skirmish, kill the archers, go attack the clubs. And let's just go ahead and thwack those spearmen, which is about to be completed. So this should be a very quickly and easily won battle. Counter charge, get a counter charge. Let's get that guy.
One of your units has no more ammunition.
Go ahead and come drop a heal up in here. There we go. Go after that archer hero. Have to get a break over here. I'm gonna just run in over here. And let's keep our Hydra Priest coming. Bust it in over here. Let's head to the capture points. I guess the quickest way to that capture point is actually a different direction. That's fine. Alright, I'm just swinging everything to the capture point. No big surprise here. We absolutely collapsed the enemy's initial defense. Take my giants and run down those archers. Take my swords, run this way. The enemy lord did get routed. I'm going to chase him with my sword skirmishers and then take Achilles. Or sorry, Achilles, not Achilles. Odysseus. And my Griffin elsewhere. Okay, there we go. Giants caught those light bowmen. We're continuing the fight against the spearmen. We got him chased. I'm gonna take my Hydra Priest, do a little bit of regen on our good friend, the Griffin. And that's gonna be it, folks. I figured that would be a relatively simple battle, and it was. Let's see if we can fit one more comment here in the end. Daniel says, CA fixed Diplomacy 2021 challenge. Maybe there's a mod that helps. I don't know. I haven't looked at mods. I could take a look. Dennis says, as for your last question about the diplomacy, could it be possible because your status was steadfast, 0, and not trustworthy? Maybe. May have something to do with it. Very well. But I could swear I've been having diplomatic issues the whole game. Not just maybe when my diplomatic status wasn't ideal. But I could be wrong. Let's go take a look at diplomacy just out of curiosity. Reliability rating. I mean, steadfast seems like a good thing. I know it says 0, but I mean, it's in green, so I would imagine that if it was bad, it could be my strength rank that everybody wants to hate me because of the great power penalty that most Total War games have. It's an arbitrary penalty you get just for being the player. It's a stupid penalty, but it is what it is. There's very little the player can do about it other than mod it out, which I frequently do. All right, well, I think this leaves us in a pretty good position for next time. I hate to trespass, but these guys are all up in my territory. I might ignore them for now. And just kind of like, I'm going to lay an ambush right here. So I can't be seen. Maybe lure some of these armies towards me. This settlement here has a decent garrison, and it's soon to have an even better garrison. It might be able to hold its own, unless it gets hit by a couple of armies. So we'll see. We've got enemies on our borders, though. We're refitting an army. This is a good point to leave off, and I will catch you all next time. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Can't wait to see you then. Hope you all enjoyed it.